Hi there BookTube, it's Eleanor here, and today I'm going to wrap up January. January, start of the year. Normally I'm quite sort of on it, quite excited, and this January I've just not been hitting my game. I don't know if it's because I've just all of a sudden become much more critical of the books that I'm reading and much more stingy with my 4 and 5 stars. I mean, I've still had a fair few 4 stars, but there's definitely been more sort of 3 stars creeping in, and I don't know if it's because I've picked an array of books for my TBR and the way I'm setting my TBR. Perhaps mood reading would suit me better. I don't know, I'm not 100% sure, so we shall see. However, I am gutted because I'm filming this. I left it till the very last moment. It's actually the 1st of February, so I've sort of left it just past the end of the month, which normally I sort of wrap up at the sort of last few days, because there's a book I'm reading at the moment and I'm almost positive it's going to be 5 stars, but you'll have to wait till February's wrap up for that one. Or if you watch my recent reads, I am wrapping up every book I read, so I'm normally doing 1 or 2 a month, and I'm filming as soon as I finished a book so you can get my initial reactions and thoughts on it. So keep an eye out for those if you want to find out the books that I'm reading and reviews and my more coherent thoughts, whereas on my wrap-ups it tends to just be, this is what I read, this is the type of books that I read, this is the ratings I gave them all, and then often I talk about my favourite of the month, and maybe a least favourite, I don't know. I tend not to be, I don't want to be mean about books, you know. I'm going to tell you my star ratings, and I'm obvious, you know, if I'm doing my recent reads I'll give you a very honest review if it's 2 stars, if I DNF'd it, but I don't need to sort of tell you what my worst book of the month is. I don't think, it's just not for me. I think you're more interested in books that you might want to pick up. Anyway, so I read 14 things this month, which is really good. I tend to average between 10 and sort of 20. It just depends on how I'm feeling, the type, the money I've got, the time I've got, and yeah, just what's going on in the month. So of those 14, there was 1 5 star, 8 4 stars, and 5 3 stars. So the 4 and 3 were fairly sort of nearly the same there, whereas normally it would have been maybe 1 or 2 3 stars and much more 4 stars. So there were certainly some lower ones in there. It was such a wide array of genres for me this month. I had 3 non-fiction, 1 romance, 2 thrillers, 2 science fiction and fantasy, 3 YA contemporary, and 3 graphic novels. So it was a real good mix up there. The graphic novels I am doing a separate video on because actually they are part of my February TBR, and I've been sort of reading them since the 1st of February. Well, actually no, since the 28th or something of January, so I started them a bit early, but I'm reading 1 alongside every book, so I'm generally reading 1 nearly every day at the moment, and I'm really enjoying doing that. So let's go through all of the books. With 3 stars is Spaceboy Volumes 2 and Volumes 3, Prince Charming by Rachel Hawkins, and This Lullaby by Sarah Dessen. My 4 stars, Unicorn, The Holiday, Foundry Side, The Silent Patient, Bittersweet, The Life-Changing Manga of Tidying Up, Deep Light, and Almost American Girl. And then my 5 star this month was Say You Still Love Me by K.A. Tucker, which was a second chance romance, which I picked to fulfill a space on my Romanceopoly board. Now, I'm not sure, I talked about this in sort of my plans briefly, or I may have talked about it in a video, but I don't think I've done a proper video on this. So let me find my page in my planner and show you a bit about this. I will link to the people that are organising Romanceopoly's channel, but this is, I've printed this off of their website. It's the Romanceopoly board. It's very much like Bookopoly that I did before, and obviously Monopoly, but this is Romanceopoly. So as you can see, as I finish a book, I'm printing off the cover and sticking it onto the square. And then what I've done is I've written out all of the prompts, and then I'm giving them a colour in when I finish them. I'm doing sort of 1 or 2 a month, and there's loads of different prompts, and there's also 2 sets of what they call cards. I think there's moon and sun. So I am doing the moon challenges because I thought they suited me better. But if you're someone that can, you know, read quite a lot of books in a year, you can challenge yourself and go twice round. But I'm doing it, there's lots of different ways you can do it. You can just go from square to square, you can just pick. I am rolling a dice and then working my way round and then going to that square. The only thing I am saying is if I land on a square I've already done, then I'll roll again and see. I want to do different squares every time. So the hope is that by the end of the year I fill up all of these squares, and I'm just really enjoying it because romance is a genre that I read a lot of growing up, and now there is much more sort of new adult romances and much more modern romantic fiction coming through. It's not all sort of your Mills and Boon, although, you know, they have their time and place as well. So I'm really enjoying just exploring this genre a little bit more this year. They are books that I tend to really enjoy. I was gravitating a lot towards more romance towards the end of last year, so I wanted to sort of ride that wave a little bit and allow myself to try this out, and I really like the idea of it. So I'm doing that. And I did complete my TBR this month. The only thing I've sort of allowed myself off was my book lust list, which was to read books written by authors with the first name Sarah. I had quite a lot on my shelf, but I only ended up reading 2, and I think that was during my sort of slumpy phase. So not too bad. I did read all the other books. I picked a book, you would have seen in one of my last videos, I picked a book off my 100 books list poster, and it was The Secret History by Donna Tartt, and I got about 150 pages in and I just DNF'd it. It wasn't for me. So, and now I've had a comment already from the lovely Jenny King on my TBR saying that she doesn't think I'm going to get on well with The Man in the Iron Mask, which she could be right, because as much as I love The Count of Monte Cristo, I mean, I put it up there with some of my favourite books of all time, I really didn't get on that well with The Three Musketeers, and I have to admit I didn't realise that this was the last book in that series. So I'm a bit dubious now, but we'll see. But you know, that could be a bit of a washout for me, this 100 books, if I don't like any of them, but we'll have to see. I'll show you it. Hold on. I haven't crossed off all the ones that I've read yet, but this is what it looks like. You can see I've crossed a couple out of ones that I've read. You can see there I've crossed out Watership Down and The Chronicles of Narnia, because they are books that I have read, but these are all sort of scrapped ones, so I do need to go through and cross out the ones that I've read, and I have made a list of ones I need to read. The plan was that I would work my way slowly through these, crossing them off and revealing the book covers, and then frame it and put it on my wall. But as I say, I'm a bit nervous now that I'm not going to like any of them, and I haven't decided if I'm going to cross them off still if I DNF'd them. Yeah, I don't know how I feel about that or what to do about that, so let me know what you think I should do. Should I still cross it off because I've given it a go, or should I only cross off the ones that I've read completely? Yeah, I'm not sure. Anyway, that is my month of January. I'm really enjoying the book I'm reading at the moment, so hopefully that bears well for February's reading. Let me know, did you have any 5 stars this month? And yeah, I read my first book that was recommended by you, which was The Silent Patient, and that was a really strong 4 stars, so thank you to the person that recommended that one for me. And I've got so many books that have been recommended by you that I can't wait to pick up, so I'm looking forward to picking them out every month. If you don't know what I'm reading this month, or my plans anyway, you go and check out my February TBR, and let's chat in the comments, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye for now, BookTube.